I'm joined by Dorothy Parvaz. She's the global politics reporter for ThinkProgress, a progressive online news outlet here in Washington. Dorothy, welcome to the program. So obviously we knew these sanctions were coming. The announcement today, the actual going into effect is on Monday. Talk to us about what we hear very little in Western media, and that is the everyday Iranians, the impact on them.
Right. I mean, day to day, people are suffering. They're seeing their currency devalued. They're trying to figure out where to put their money, how to invest their money, how to invest in their future. And they're not being given much of a good signal from the West. So they start looking to other countries to invest, China maybe, or Turkey, places like that.
If you talk to the administration, many would say, well, it's not just the responsibility of the American government to make sure Iranians are not suffering, that the Iranian government is corrupt, there is mismanagement, all kinds of problems with the government. What do you tell those critics that say part of the responsibility here is with the Iranian government?
Well, the Iranian government and its corruption or issues like that are also the responsibility of the Iranian people. It's not up to foreign powers to say, we don't like how you're treating your people necessarily. I mean, there's a lot of corrupt governments all over the world, but you don't see the U.S. trying to starve their entire populations.
The administration would also say this will force Iran into a new round of negotiations. Is there any sign of that?
Not at this point, but I mean, this could also backfire in a big way. What it could do is back Iran and its allies into a corner so that they create their own banking system, their own trade policies, completely freezing out the U.S. So if, you know, India, China, Russia, maybe even the European allies decide that they still want to continue to trade with Iran, they could create their own alternative to the banking system, the SWIFT bank system, that the U.S. is also considering cutting Iran out of again. And that would give.
Is that the one that the European Union is talking to Iranians about? Okay.
Correct.
And are they going to face sanctions under these new rules?
Yeah, well, the president has been pretty clear about that. But it remains to see whether they can find ways to circumvent it. And this has happened before. So in 2012, when the Obama administration imposed sanctions, oil sanctions on Iran, initially India was purchasing oil using foreign currencies and local banks. So this is not unheard of. It's been done before. Even the UAE was purchasing Iranian oil, having it refined in the UAE, and then calling it a UAE product.
Right. And when I was talking to Iran's foreign minister at the UN General Assembly, he was very confident that the Chinese, Iran's #1 oil customer, are going to continue to buy oil from Iran and are not going to face any kind of sanctions or restrictions from the U.S. government. So we'll see how that pans out. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has been very vocal, very critical of the Iranian government, and says what they're doing is really aimed at fundamentally altering the behavior of Iran. Is this mean regime change, really, is what they're after?
It seems like it. I mean, Secretary Pompeo in May gave a speech where he outlined 12 bullet points for what they wanted from Iran, which was essentially to change their entire foreign policy, right? And that is unlikely to happen. So basically, it seems like what they want is regime change in Iran in order for those things to happen. And short of having, you know, a Senator, I don't know, Cotton as the new supreme leader of Iran, I don't know what would make Secretary Pompeo happy.
And finally, I want to ask you about a picture that President Trump tweeted a couple of hours ago. And of course, this is just a few days before the midterm elections. Sanctions are coming, and then it has the date. I just want to get your reaction to this.
Well, this is obviously the president communicating via social media, right? I mean, this is he issues policy statements on Twitter, and now and he loves a good meme as well. So this is a game he's playing prior to the midterms coming up on Tuesday. This is a high-stakes game. We know that Congress is trying to push his hand towards imposing the SWIFT banking sanctions on Iran again. So it remains to be seen what happens.
A meme for the president, but something that will undoubtedly hurt millions of Iranians in the country.
80 million Iranians aren't laughing.
Right, exactly. All right, Dorothy Parvaz, thank you so much.